Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the KAPNER CRC webinar series. We have a very special guest today. Before I introduce our guest, let me tell you a little bit about the KAPNER Research Council. We established the council as an advisory body to my office, that is the KAPNER Office of Research, back in 2019. Dr. Mike Stambaugh is the chair of the KAPNER Research Council currently. He is traveling today and he's unable to be here. Otherwise, he would be the one running the show. So in his absence, I will be the one introducing our speaker. So what does KAPNER Research Council do? Well, the CRC webinar is one good example of their activities. KAPNER Research Council started the webinar during COVID, but we started meeting in person as Coffee and Conversation back in 2019. Some of you may recall that it was Dr. George Smith, our Nobel laureate, the first speaker. He was the first speaker of our Coffee and Conversation, which we discontinued during COVID and pivoted to the webinar. We tried to bring back the in-person conversation, Coffee and Conversation after COVID, but we got the feedback that you all liked the webinar format, and we've been continuing the webinar format. And so this CRC webinar is the first one of the spring semester. So what else do they do? KAPNER Research Council is also responsible for the KAPNER Research Symposium. They've been successfully organizing the symposium for the last 3 years. They also help me make decisions, important decisions related to funding from my office, helping you with your research programs. For example, the Joy of Discovery, the KAPNER Matching Assistantship, the new Matching Equipment Program. The KAPNER Research Council helps make those decisions. And when they do so, they are representing you, our faculty, staff, and students. So that's how we bring in shared governance to my office. So I thank them for all the excellent work they do. So with that, let me introduce our speaker for today. So as I said, we have a very special guest, a friend of our college, Mr. Gary Wheeler, as our speaker. So Gary serves as the Chief Executive Officer and Executive Director for the Missouri Soybean Association, Missouri Soybean Merchandising Council, and the Foundation for Soy Innovation. And Gary is an innovative and committed servant leader with the farmer always in mind. His focus on partnerships and the power of forward thinking has successfully led Missouri soybean organizations through significant operation and at strategic challenges. And Gary's partnership with our college is quite evident in a number of our programs. And today, Gary is going to talk about the strength of partnerships. In academia, we often talk about publish or perish. Well, the new mantra is partner or perish. And we have an outstanding partner in Gary and the Missouri Soybean Association and the Merchandising Council. Gary holds a Master of Business Administration from Williams Woods University and a Bachelor of Science degree in Agricultural Business from Murray State University. He previously served the Missouri agricultural industry in roles with the Missouri Department of Ag, Missouri Corn Growers Association, and Missouri Corn Merchandising Council. Gary also served in the Missouri Army National Guard for more than a decade. So without further ado, Gary, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Shabu. Greatly appreciate it, partner. So what I'm going to shortly review Checkoff and our impact, who MSMC is, who MSA is, and then I'm going to go and we can talk about the partnership roles and kind of brag on Cafner a little bit. So I'm going to share my screen here. Hopefully everybody is not melted from the rain like I am or have. Can everybody see that? Shabu, can you see that?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. So checking in on the Checkoff, and really that gives us the strength and the resources to partner with so many. Let's see here. Here we go. So about Missouri soybeans, we have two governing bodies, two farmer-led boards, and that's MSMC, that's Missouri Soybean Merchandising Council, and that's where the Checkoff comes in. That's where we do our marketing, our research, our outreach and education. That's where we reach out internationally and domestically to grow our markets. We know how important that is to make that happen. You know, we've had several issues, although it's a policy side, we've had several issues when it comes to defending our markets and increasing our markets, sustaining our markets. MSMC plays a huge role in that on a domestic and international basis, and we take quite pride in that. So Missouri Soybean Association is specifically in its entirety only policy and politics. And I know a lot of people, you know, no matter your flavor of politics, if you support Missouri soybean farmers and its industry, we support you. We don't care what color of flag you fly. And we truly mean that. And we've proven that time and time again when it comes to supporting our supporters. The last cycle on the politics side for elections, we spent about $285,000 specifically through the association supporting our supporters. That's either statewide, that is also senators and congressional delegation. So you can see there that we have 7 grower districts, which quite varies. I would say our smallest, as some of you might know, for soybean production is 5. District 5 there in the middle. It covers a lot of the Ozarks, and then 7. If you look down at the bottom, down the Boot Hill, you guys are probably familiar with that. 7 counties down there, 5 of the 7 counties, 1/3 of the soybean production in the state of Missouri comes from 5 counties down there. It's quite the soybean country, and we're proud of that. And that's where I hail. That's where I'm from originally. So our MSMC mission, and it's something I want you guys to adhere to. It's something that we follow on a day-to-day basis, and I make sure that staff and board adhere to this. And you guys can read it. But if you're in the soybean research world, or even if you're touching the soybean 2 and 3 times removed, it's important to follow this, because this is what we adhere to. We are committed to promoting and advancing innovative research, production, and marketing solutions to maximize Missouri soybean farmer profitability. And something that you'll notice, the first is advancing innovative research. And we're proud, more than proud, of our partnership with Cafner. Not University of Missouri, which I know Cafner's a part of it, but it's Cafner. and everybody that touches the soybean. And there's a lot that goes on. I wish I could share everything that we do, but I can't just because we don't have the time. But it's amazing the amount of things that we get done on a daily basis, an annual basis, to accomplish for the Missouri soybean farmer and our industry just through this partnership. The MSMC vision is empowering Missouri soybean farmers through innovation. Two main words that you really need to adhere to here is empowering and innovation. Something that I really want you guys to think about. I know you guys collaborate all the time, but to advance innovative research, we need to empower, and that's empowering each other. Within CAFNR, you need to empower each other. Take each other outside of the lab, into the field, and empower each other of why we're doing this. Visit with the farmer that actually pays the check off, that pays for the research. We're going to get that much deeper and that much greater, that much stronger of a partnership to make that happen. So the soybean checkoff, and that's on the federal side, this is how we're funded for MSMC. Every bushel of soybeans that's sold in the state of Missouri at the point of sale, it's 0.5% of the sale. We take in all of that and we send half of that. If it's $1, we send half of 50%, or the 50 cents, we send it to the United Soybean Board. We keep the other half. So Missouri Soybean Merchandising Council, our strategic priorities. Again, you'll see first, research, demand, outreach, and education. Right now, we're focused both on research and demand. Normally, research, demand, outreach, education is a third of the budget. Knowing what we're up against, knowing that the environment within the oil environment now, and making sure that we're selling the soybean meal that we have in production. All of this is ramping up over the next few years, really focusing on demand. But to do that, we have to research it. So, you know, it has to both have our hand in hand to make things happen. One of the most difficult things that we have to do is outreach and education. And I know, you know, this is something that me and Shabu and Chris and the rest of our team, we talk about all the time, how difficult it is of that knowledge transfer to the people that we want to reach. And how does it impact the land grant institution's mission? And it's hard to do. You know, we have the money, we have the money to spend on it. We have the resources to do this. And we try to share as much as possible, you know, with this partnership, but it's so difficult because the knowledge transfer and the tech transfer doesn't always match up, and it's difficult to make that happen. So we can only continue to do our best. And really the best way to do it, and I know it's so hard for all of us to get out of our day-to-day and leave our labs and leave our seat, because it's difficult for me, is face-to-face. And we try to spend a lot of resource and time. I'm not talking money when I say resource. I'm talking about human capital, educating our farmers so we can use them as tools to go out and educate them as well. So I challenge several of you to continue to develop that partnership on the countryside. I challenge you to, even if you just making sure that you know the farmers are your partner. And partnerships are so key to make those things happen, and key for our research and our demand. We will not succeed if they don't know what we're doing, or what you're doing, more importantly. So this is our program area breakdown. I'm not going to spend much time within this area, but one thing I do want to point out is if you'll see the 1% admin costs. This is very important for the board to make sure that we keep our admin costs down. And you might say, well, Gary, what about all the staff that you have? You know, I started out with 2.5 staff in 2014. We have 21 staff today. And the majority of the staff are program staff. 6 of them today are self-funded. They fund it's not necessarily soft dollars, but they are self-funded through other programs and other projects internally and externally. The only way that we've been able to succeed from 2.5 to 21 are those partnerships. That's the only way we've been able to succeed within those areas, specifically in consumer education, producer communications, research, and promotion. One of the programs that I'll tout today is one with conservation department. And I have specifically 2 staff that we share with conservation, and they pay 100% of their salary, and I finish out their E&E, their insurance, their vehicle, and things like that. But that came through a partnership with the same of the University of Missouri as well. We have several types of these. And my goal over the next 3 years is to continue what I refer to a 3-to-1. Every dollar we spend, we receive 3 back into our organization, into our coffers, so we can continue to develop those partnerships and continue to develop how we deliver on behalf of all of our other partners, our farmers, and our staff and programming, hitting the mission and vision of our organizations. Research specific areas. We have the breeding. Breeding is extremely important to what we do and why we do it. It's probably our strongest, if not the strongest, partnership we have with University of Missouri. We have a breeding program in the north and a breeding program in the south. The Missouri farmers and their checkoff, we fund these breeders each to the tune of about $500,000 a year each. And then we have programs, agronomic programs, that are built upon that. We provide lots of equipment, whether it's university, whether it's merchandising council, either way, we make sure that our breeding program is top of the line and they have the tools to do their job to the best of their ability. And I will tell you this, we have private seed companies come in that are jealous of our facilities. And it's because of that partnership. So addressing specific challenges, that's what we do, right? That's what we do on a daily basis. We partner together to figure out the issues that our farmers have or the industry within the soybean industry. We address those, and there's so many. And again, one of the most recent and probably will be one of the biggest in my tenure, if not the biggest, is the SCN win for the breeding program, guys. This is huge. And Shabu and Chris, I haven't had the opportunity to share this with you, but we've got some big wins coming down the road, guys. This is a big deal for University of Missouri and the farmers of Missouri, soybean farmers, including USDA and USB. I can't speak. The only way, again, the only way this would have ever happened is those partnerships, because we can't do it alone. We have to have the minds. We have to have truly the spirit and the initiative to make these things happen. We know what it takes. Again, partnerships. So the soybean breeding program and the color sorter, we got the color sorter there. Again, that's one of the investments that we made for the breeding program and other marker collaborations that we have, not just in Missouri, but there's 12 other universities that uses the Q sorter at the Bay Farm. They pay into it, and it's a fantastic partnership between USDA, University of Missouri, and the farmers of Missouri. And we purchased this machine. It's about $550,000. We bought it 2 years ago, and it's paying for itself. and not just in dollars, but it's paying for itself in intellectual property. So the IEP end, and it makes our breeding program that much faster, including other public breeding programs. We knew what it was going to do, and we had to have it. There's only 4 in the United States. And guess what? You have one of them because of a partnership. Think about that. Some of the other things that we talk about is soybean varieties with traits that are needed for Missouri producers. But you know what's awesome is the fact that we share. We don't give, we share. We have MTAs. Everybody know what an MTA is. This technology with so many other public breeding programs, including the top 6 breeding programs, private seed companies in the world. If it wasn't for the breeders, we wouldn't be having these traits. You'd be surprised at what traits are out there if it wasn't for these partnerships. Again, expanding those opportunities, high oleic and other value-added traits, possibly providing premiums for the farmer in a closed loop system or vertically integrated type system. And we have several of those, specifically in dairy and chicken production. And one that I could mention publicly is Prairie Pride on the East Coast. They wouldn't have the non-GMO high oleic program if it wasn't for the University of Missouri and the Missouri Soybean Merchandising Council. It would not be vertically integrated. They wouldn't have those other programs and partnerships with Indiana and Georgia and Ohio and Missouri, where they're pulling this from. Farmers are getting the premium on these. It's fantastic. So I'm going to push through this real quick as far as the Bay Farm facility. Missouri Soybean Association owns the Bay Farm Research Farm. It's a farm. Our ultimate goal and bottom line is for research there. The farmers this week voted to change the name of it and to equally brand with our Center for Soy here where I'm at right now. So it's going to be the Farm for Soybean Innovation. Excuse me. Very simple, but to the point. And it's going to really increase our brand, be able to market a lot easier, and increase partnerships for grants, partnering with the university and making it easier for a lot of your PIs, your researchers, to make that happen. We've got probably an additional 60 acres of bulk farm ground that we are ready and willing to partner on and do custom work on. So that is where our Northern Missouri breeding program is set with Dr. Skaboo. Dr. Skaboo is one of the most passionate researchers that I've ever met. And if you have not met Dr. Skaboo, I definitely recommend you meet him, and hopefully he can rub off on you and share his passion and love for breeding and taking care of the Missouri soybean farmers. Agronomic on farm researching. This is what I was talking about, the bulk acres, including weed science. Kevin Bradley's a big partner there. USDA is a big partner there. They have an office there. We're big into cover crops now and have been, and then our planting practices. One of the things that we're really focused on at the farm, again, it's about partnerships and bringing people to us and extending that out is we didn't get on the bandwagon of Smart Farm, but we do want a Smart Farm project. And the ultimate goal is to look at different technologies that the farmer can adopt 1 to 3 years out. So we're visiting with those possible companies that want to commercialize within the next 1 to 3 to 5 years and be able to showcase that to farmers, be able to use that, practice it there on the farm before they even commercialize it, and then bring that back and literally be able to work on their equipment within building number 2, make different changes on the piece of equipment, say if it's a drone, and then push that back out. We have those bulk acres to make that happen. And then lastly, then it's very important to the farmer, and we're very active with on the farm, is soil, water, and wildlife conservation projects. those two people that I was talking about with the partnership, it wasn't for those two people and the partnership with the Department of Conservation, we wouldn't have this area. We have agronomic projects, cover crop, soil health, the pest management, and then those comparisons, the strip trial, and then the yield trial. We're really looking forward to our new state soybean extension specialist. He's been good, and he's going to be good. We're really excited about him. So demand, we've referred to that. Part of our demand is licensing and commercialization. University of Missouri owns all of our germ. We made those changes back in 2015, and if the farmer is putting up the money, University of Missouri owns it. There's got to be a huge trust there, folks. And it's not about contracts, and it's not about agreements or MTAs or anything like that. This is raw trust, and it has to be there, and it's there. That is our only reason for success to make these things happen. So again, intellectual property, patents, trademarks, commercialization. We have we share seed advisory committee, and then we share 50-50 soy-oleic, which is a non-transgenic, high oleic, low lin seed technology. Very proud of that. Some of our areas that we partner with: USB, USEC, WISH, the Poultry Egg Council, Missouri Cattlemen's, U.S. Meat Export Federation. Again, all partnerships that we pay into that we're not just members of. We do research with these groups. One with WISH and another one with U.S. Soybean Export Council, specifically working on in-pond raceway systems to increase the efficiency of feed into fish, aquaculture, and speeding that process up and making it higher quality using meal. We have developed in Cambodia and Myanmar several farms using our product through Cargill to make those things happen. We partner with U.S. Meat Export Federation and USAPEC in Japan and other areas. Again, examples of partnership. Missouri Made Fuel, Biodiesel Coalition of Missouri. This is all of the biodiesel producers of Missouri, but also ones that advocate for biodiesel and therefore its products. So we got fleets, fuel suppliers, retailers. We have several infrastructure programs that we have built over the past 3 or 4 years, and we make sure that we take part in policymaker education. Again, all partnerships to the success for MSA and policy making. Another area that we focus on is new uses. We partner with several universities, including S&T. We in Pittsburgh State, right across the line in Kansas, and several others in University of Missouri. We've got a lot that goes on within the area: soy-based tires, foam, seats. If you've not been to the Center for Soy, this is truly an epitome, this building, of partnerships. It's truly the house that Soy built. And our concrete sealer, our carpet, the cushions in our seats, our countertops in our kitchen and other areas. The building is heated with biodiesel. It's amazing. The paint that you see behind me, and all in my office here, is soy based. It's absolutely amazing to see this. We also have a partnership with Synlawn and AstroTurf. We've got putting green inside the office here. Come and have a beverage of choice with me. We'll have putt game, and then coming out front is specifically showcasing Synlawn, and it's all soy based. How awesome! Again, a partnership. Outreach and education, it's specifically this is what it says. You know, we have several youth programs. It's hands-on education, interactive exhibits here. Part of the center is part of that outreach and education. Here at the center, it's also training space. We specifically have an area within the education space that is strengthened within the concrete. We have a glass garage door, and then out is also strengthened as well. It's big enough and thick enough to where we can bring in a full-size combine, a tractor to do spray training for any of those companies, and we have conducted those. We also have outdoor areas as well. Out here, I actually get to look out here and look at all of our conservation area and trail. Our asphalt is soy-based, including the sealer, and the paint lines are soy-based as well. How fun is that? Environmental stewardship program, again, I'm not going to speak too deeply to that, but you know, it's all about freedom to operate. I'm sure a lot of you keep up with this area, but it's a partnership between MSMC and MSA and many, many others to make sure the farmer has freedom to operate. We worry about it every day. We're paid to worry about it every day. And I think as researchers, you all need to keep it on the forefront of your mind of freedom to operate and how you can really help the soybean farmer in the industry to continue to exist for profit. We continue to have EPA. There's a lot of things that we want, but let the farmer decide on their own and bring programs to themselves. They are the first conservationists on earth. They're not going to hurt their own area. So I'm sure you guys believe in the same. Here's other partners within that environmental stewardship area. We got third place on our honeybees out here, and I have it with my tea every afternoon. I didn't have tea today, but in the winter I try to have tea, and I dream that I'm in London somewhere or in the England countryside having my tea and honey. But we got third place with that, and it's awesome. And it came from we got a golf course that's 300 yards from me, and we have so many things out here that it was pulled from. I need to get you guys some of that. Here's some of our work at the Center for Soy and our Bay Farm demonstration. Again, you see the down at the bottom right. That's not us. That's the Missouri Beekeepers Association. The only reason that we have that and that we're able to tout that, and we mainly use it for education and outreach whenever students are here, the importance of using technology while protecting our environment at the same time. We have to do it. If we don't, we will lose. So we're showcasing ways that we can make that happen. We partnered with the Missouri Beekeepers Association to make that happen. It didn't cost us a dime. They come out and collect the honey for us, and then they bottle it. It's pretty cool. Actually, hold on. Sorry, I should have had this for you. But here's the bottle, and you see I've used quite a bit of it. Anyway, so that's the basin that we have. We've got a 100-year flood basin down behind the building to collect all the water that comes off of our building, our driveway, our parking lot, everywhere. And you see the top left is the water collection that we actually test on a quarterly basis to test the water that's coming off this property. Again, power and partnerships. So I don't know how you guys exist, but to receive funding, and whether it's through the university, it's a partnership through your boss, it's a partnership through USDA, NSF grants. One of the main ways to keep a partnership is communication. Being Shaboo, we've day, whether it's a text or a call but that partnership would never exist if we didn't do that. So I challenge you guys on, and again, don't take this as a dig on any of you, because it's not. It's a pro. It's a positive. I challenge all of you to increase your communication with your current partners and figure out ways to empower them. And in return, it's going to empower you with a possible resource gain, whether it's human capital, whether it's dollars, whether it's partnering on a project that you have been wanting to partnering on. It might be something to help you get tenure and partner on a possible publication. You can't make those things happen unless you're communicating. And with that, selling yourself. It's critical. It's a critical point. Selling your land grant institution and being proud of it, being proud of CAFNR and where you're coming from and the seat that you set in, making sure you set goals to make those things happen. It all requires partnership. And all at the same time, you're having fun. Believe it or not, I'm an introvert. I become an extrovert when I have to. This week, I've had board meetings. I was actually given an award night before last for my 10-year anniversary and got a standing ovation. It took so much energy out of me that I went home and I slept for like 12 hours. But you have to get over that, to make sure that that power that you have, because it's all in you to make those partnerships. Shabu, if you may, and Chris, if you want to as well, this is not a situation that, I don't pat people on the back. I truly commend you guys, and very often it's a situation that it needs to be talked about. Shabu or Chris or both, speak to the partnership of the soybean farmer and the intricacies maybe, and how important it is to the point of partnering with the farmer, but using that as an example to really make CAFNR that much stronger and better and meet the mission of CAFNR, but at the same time, meet the mission of the land grant institution.
Well, Gary, I know the dean is on the call, so Chris, please feel free to unmute and speak up. Rhonda, can you patch him through? I don't see him. Okay, there you go. So, Gary, as you said, we value the partnership very much. You gave some dollar amounts. We've done some calculations and you've seen it, you know this, but we also know that you invest in grants alone anywhere from $1.3 to $1.5 million every year in research programs in our faculty. In addition to that, you also invest heavily in equipment, buying, like equipment for our faculty, or investing in their other projects like infrastructure improvement. And all of you know that we got $3.25 million for infrastructure improvement for the Foundation Seed program. And that was made possible by Gary and MSA and MSMC. Without their help, we wouldn't have gotten the $3.25 million from the state. So the partnership, the beauty of it is, Gary, that these funds that you provide us help us bring in additional funding from other sources so we can leverage your funding and bring in that return on the investment, multiple folds to the farmers of Missouri and beyond. So I will let the dean speak up. Chris, please go ahead.
Hey, Gary, can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir. Thanks, Chris.
Hey, thanks so much for taking your time this afternoon and presenting to the college and our faculty and our staff. Um, I love the theme partnerships. You're an outstanding partner. You're a model partner. In fact, I'd like to encourage um, other industry to step up and to be more like Missouri Soybeans and how they partner with our university, with our faculty, and with our staff. Uh, I think we can do more to strengthen other relationships and other partnerships. I had a question for you, Gary. I posted on and in the chat. Recently, I was in DC. It was I think it was last November,
Mhm.
and with APLU, I met with national boards and national commodities to figure out how we can, again, strengthen partnerships nationally across all ag commodity groups. Um, at that meeting and in those meetings, we heard about the threats being waged, being pitched against the checkoff programs. Can you educate everybody a little bit about that threat, that challenge, and give us your perspective on where it's coming from and what it is?
Would love to. And thanks for bringing it up because it truly is. It truly is a major issue and one that it's very difficult to push back. So there are, and I'm not going to mention names or anything like that. But there are 3 or 4, there's a contingent on congressional delegation to kill checkoff programs, period. And the last bill that failed, thankfully, due to our national partners, our federal partners, and assistance of our state partners, including Missouri Soybean Association, defeated the OFF Act. And the OFF Act specifically would make any checkoff board that partners with any entity that lobbies would have to separate and cannot have any connection, 0. So that would mean Missouri Soybean Association could not be a contractor to the Merchandising Council. Mind you, the land that the Center for Soy sits on is owned by the Missouri Soybean Association. The very staff that carries out all the programmatic development, everything the Merchandising Council does is the staff works for the association. We contract with the Merchandising Council. We contract with others as well. But MSMC is our biggest contract. Well, guess what MSA does? Guess what? I'm a lobbyist, state and federal. I'm a registered lobbyist. I have to be to do my job. That would kill all checkoffs across the board. There's not one checkoff program in the United States for soybeans that's not connected to a lobby firm. And the work is not over, Chris. We have to continue to protect the institution of the checkoff across the board. It's cotton, it's rice, it's cookies, it's potatoes, it's peanuts. It's across the board. They don't like it because they do not feel that there is enough oversight by USDA to make sure that these checkoffs are properly doing their job and being conducted, and not doing their fiduciary responsibility. We are audited every year. And then we are reviewed every year. We are audited every 5 years. That's on top of our third-party annual audit that has to be conducted by both organizations per the bylaws of the organizations. Their main issue is they want them gone. And then, believe it or not, guys, they don't like animal agriculture. Anything that supports animal ag, they don't want it. Congressman Booker, look up the videos. Look at where he's at. He's a vegetarian, a true vegetarian. I'm not downing vegetarians. That's not my point. But let everyone make their own decision. And this is the biggest point of all. This is a self-policed, self-taxed program. The farmer chose and continue to choose to tax themselves for research, marketing, demand, outreach, education. They choose to tax themselves, and they want to take that away from them. Now, I don't like to use the word tax, but that's what it is. They self-tax. So there's the answer. Keep an eye on it, because we don't want to lose this partnership. We don't want to lose what we've built over the last 30 years. It would be horrible. Now, Missouri is protected. If the federal checkoff went away, we would stay the same. We wouldn't even lose the amount of money. The one thing that's different is you do have the right of return, right of refund. So you have to pay it in, but then if you want it back, you have to ask for it back. So good question, Chris, and thanks for bringing that up. Very important.
Thanks, Gary. Appreciate you and all that you do for Catherine and the University of Missouri. Thanks so much.
You bet.
Thank you, Gary. Are you done with your PowerPoint?
I
Because
am.
You are. Okay, great. So I do have a couple of more questions before we wrap up. Hope you can respond to them. So the next question, by the way, if you are, I don't think you will be able to ask the question. I think you have to
I
type in
think
your
I see it.
question, yeah, in the Q&A box. So you can read
Yes.
it, but I'm going to still read it. So for everyone's benefit. So the question is, in terms of partnerships, does Missouri Soybeans employ a framework or set of criteria to ensure that the partnership meets the goal of empowering farmers through innovation? If so, could Gary share this framework criteria?
It's not on paper. It truly is, let's meet, let's see if it's mutually beneficial, and we go from there. It truly is a grassroots effort, very basic, very elementary, and we want to keep it that way. We don't want to put ourselves in a box. I think everybody knows what academic freedom is, right? And I smile because nobody wants that taken away from them. It's the same thing when it comes to making sure that you can formulate a partnership, and it could be a partnership as, and we did it here recently at Lutz Barbecue in Jefferson City. There at a gas station, we struck a partnership by them using our oil and us promoting them. So they use Soylec now. That's very simple. And so the answer to that is no. And if you have ideas, I'm always open to ideas. I'm always sharing them. I'm sharing them with Shabu or Chris or other partners, Heike. And the other thing is I'm not afraid or scared to look at new partnerships that nobody else has done. We're known for it, and we're damn good at it. And that's what we want. We want out of the box ideas to set the stage. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is to make sure that you innovate. Good question. Oh, you're on mute. There you go.
Thank you, Gary. And speaking of innovations, here is the next question touching on that. Really nice presentation, Gary. And thanks for all the support to Kafner from MSMC over the years. It is truly unmatched when compared to other state boards. My question, can you comment on current and future concerns Missouri farmers have that are currently not being addressed by research projects?
That's a tough question. Actually, my answer to that would be continued research. And that would be, SCN, something that we're really scared of, and we don't feel that there's been enough research completed, is the fact that we have EPA going to make decisions on regulations that they don't know anything about. And groups like EWG and others continue to promote, but it is a situation that's really what that is. And it comes down to biodiesel production or SAF, and that's aviation fuel, sustainable aviation fuel. They're going to be making decisions on these without enough research. If we look at the GREET model, and that's the one with what we want, you guys look it up, it's GREET, and it's about carbon and carbon efficiency, carbon placement, displacement, et cetera, et cetera. We don't feel that they have done enough research to make a decision that's going to impact the whole future of the biofuels industry. So those are some direct things that will definitely impact. Something else, and I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth. I have the right to do that because I represent two different groups. It's kind of a funny statement, right? But I do represent a policy and politics arm, and then I represent a research arm. On one side, Missouri Soybean Association supports science as long as it works. And then on the Merchandising Council side, we have a breeding program that's impacted 15 to 20% on yields because of a specific product that kills soybeans, that hinders its ability to yield. We all know what that is. It's called dicamba. So that's where I have to talk both sides of my mouth. I don't think that there's been enough research completed, and we really need to, I'm not saying to drop it. I'm saying we need to protect it, but as long as science prevails. I know that in Chris and you guys know, I've always spoke my mind. Kevin Bradley is a fantastic researcher, and he went down the appropriate road to do what he needed to do. And I'm bringing up, something that's 4 years old, and I know I'm being recorded, and that's fine. I've been recorded on this topic before. But you guys got a badass researcher there, and he did the right thing for the farmers, the university, and the industry itself. So I know he got a lot of pushback from industry and so on, but he did the right thing on that whole product. So again, there's a lot that I could, answer to that question, because there are many, many things. And if there are areas out there that you are thinking that we're not thinking of, please share them with me.
Thank you, Gary. I think we are coming to the end of our time here, but I have one last question for you. And that is, do you have a short list of your most successful means of creating new partnerships?
It's probably, in short, a conversation at the bar. I know that's not very innovative, but when I was saying things are so simple in elementary, things do come from very elementary situations like that. It's not hard. Don't make it hard. Don't think about, think about what's the easiest way of travel? Think of, electricity movement. That's how electricity moves. It's most easiest way. That's the same thing for a partnership. Now, there's some things I'm not going to share because I've had to remove roadblocks. I've had to blow up roadblocks. I've had to remove people. There's a lot of things that I've had to do to make sure a partnership was successful because we could not stand to lose that partnership. And when it's that big of a partnership, you have to have the willingness to make it happen. And so, again, there's a start, but it's also, to me, it's just as hard to sustain one as to get a new one.
Gary, I'm going to share with everyone something you said when we were chit-chatting before we started the webinar. You said partnerships start with relationship. So building relationships. And you said that we text or call, frequently and communication. So you've been a great champion of building relationships too. So that's where partnerships begin. So
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you for everything that we have done for Kapner and this institution. We appreciate it. We are a better college and a better research enterprise and transferring that knowledge to the farmers because of our partnership with you all. So thank you for taking the time to talk to us this afternoon. I know
You bet. Hopefully it was
extremely-
helpful for all, Shabu. And, that partnership goes both ways. And I truly mean that. So thank you.
Well, on behalf of every one of us, thank you very much, Gary.
Take care, guys. Call anytime.
All right. Thanks everyone for attending today's webinar. Bye for